Do you want to learn effective ways to build relationships, generate sales, and grow your business from successful entrepreneurs, startups, and CEOs without listening to a long interview? If so, you've come to the right place. Gresham Harkless values your time and is ready to share with you precisely the information you're in search of. This is the I Am CEO podcast.
Hello. This is Gresh from the I Am CEO podcast, and I have a very special guest on the show today. I have Janaka Siriwaradena of Tastefinder. Janaka, it's awesome to have you on the show.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be in your show, Gresh.
No problem. Super excited to have you on, and what I want to do was read a little bit more about Janaka so we can hear about all the awesome things that he's doing. And Janaka is the founder and the CEO of Tastefinder. Janaka holds a bachelor's degree in mathematics and a master's degree in technology management from George Mason University. He is a project manager working as an independent project management consultant to the U.S. government. He is a former restaurant owner and an avid foodie. Janaka, are you ready to speak to the I Am CEO community?
I am ready, Gresh.
Awesome. Let's do it. So to kick everything off, I wanted to hear a little bit more about your background and what led you to start your business.
Sure. I have been actually a business owner since 2012. I started with owning a gas station, a small gas station in 2012, right after I graduated from George Mason University. After that, I moved on to owning a restaurant in Ashburn, Virginia. It's a franchise burger restaurant. And then from there on, I started my own restaurant. It's a pizza restaurant. Just wanted to explore that world last year. So I've sold all those businesses. And during that business, that's when I actually had this Tastefinder idea. And wanting to bring together how customers can find restaurants, because as a foodie, I'm not actual like foodie where you go every day to discover new restaurants, but I'm actually I love experiencing new restaurants and new food. So, but I find it difficult to find the right restaurant. So I actually decided to come up with Tastefinder to help bridge the gap.
That makes perfect sense. And I love that you have that experience, especially. And I know like when I met you at a local 1 Million Cups, I heard you speak a lot about, the reason for Tastefinder and all the awesome things that you're doing. So I wanted to hear a little bit more about that, how the app works, what exactly it does, and, just everything you can tell us about it.
Sure. If you think about today, for average consumer, there's at least 10, 20 restaurants that's dedicated just for food, right? Looking at reviews, you have Yelp, Google reviews, Zomato. There's so many Google, restaurant review platforms. Then if you want to do ordering, then there's Grubhub, DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Caviar. There's at least another 10 right there. And then if you actually want to get a coupon, there's restaurant.com, Groupon. It's all over the place. Nobody's actually have everything in one place. For me, when I'm looking for a restaurant with my fiance, it takes about 30 minutes for us to make a decision. It's like, I got to take a look at the reviews, menu, and all of these things. And we decided, there has to be a easier solution for this. And here it is, Tastefinder. Everything in one place. You have your restaurant reviews in one place. You have all the menus, all of the reviews, coupons, distance to the restaurant, everything in one place, so you get to make a decision within seconds. That's what Tastefinder is.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And I love the idea of it. And I remember even when you presented, I remember seeing the picture. And I know you made it, obviously, because you being a former restaurant owner, you also built the app so that just as much as, you know, you and your fiance or anybody you're trying to go out to eat with, you know, is looking for something that, you know, hits all of those different checkpoints and it's all in one place, it also can be a lot for the people that own the restaurants, if I'm understanding correctly too, just because you have to have different apps and different, you know, databases and all those things for all those different, you know, I guess ways that people can purchase your food and stuff.
That's right, Gresh, because not only the customer has to deal with 10 websites. Restaurant also has to deal with all of these delivery platforms, managing review sites, and all of these platforms. So we're trying to make it so it's easy to manage for both sides, for restaurant owners as well as the regular consumers.
Yeah,
Make
exactly.
life easy, you know.
Exactly, and by consolidating everything, making everything simple, it's
That's
kind of
correct.
interesting that, you know, it hasn't been done before. But I'm super excited to hear, you know, that you're working on and working towards, you know, being able to consolidate all of those things. So, and you might have already touched on this, but I want to ask you for what I call your secret sauce, and this could be for you or your organization. But what do you feel kind of sets you apart and makes you unique?
Right. So what sets us apart is that we are not a service-oriented um, company, meaning that we don't do food deliveries. We don't, make food either. So it's basically we are bringing in all of the other services so that you get to take advantage of it in one place. So we're not reinventing the wheel as far as, oh, by the way, come order food through our platform. That's not necessarily what we're going for. Come on in, get the information that you need to make the right decision. So that's what sets us apart, because that way, like DoorDash, Grubhub, and they're only trying to increase their network, right? Their influence. And for us, it's about everybody, everybody in Yelp, everybody in Groupon, everybody in Grubhub, DoorDash. They're all of them are in Tastefinder. So everybody gets business, and also all the restaurants are easily discoverable. Um, and the other thing is like the biggest thing, we are similar to Expedia for restaurants. Let's say that you want to. What's your favorite food? Let's just go with
My
that.
favorite food would probably be something Italian. So I'm gonna go with pizza right now because I just had that for lunch.
All right. Okay, let's say it's pizza, right? So other than this chain pizza, let's say that you wanted to get a sausage pizza and you want to find out the pricing. Now, if you Google that today, you won't be able to do a price comparison on, there will be like 10 restaurants that near you that carries pizza,
Hmm.
but you don't know exactly how much they are and what are the reviews. So you would have to go each one individually to get that information, which consumes time,
Right.
right? So with us, when you type in, let's say, sausage pizza, that'll give you a list of restaurants near you that carries exactly sausage pizza, let's say 5 restaurants, and it goes from the cheapest to the most expensive um, in the list of order. So that way you get to make a decision saying, oh, maybe I want to try here, maybe I want to try there, or or that actually looks good because they got better reviews than the other one. So that's our secret sauce.
Nice. I love that, and I love the idea of it, how everything's consolidated all in one place. And it's funny because I was reading something recently, I think, or I saw something recently where it said, you know, Airbnb and Uber, they're, you know, some of the biggest companies that you know of, and they're literally everywhere, but they don't. You know, Airbnb doesn't actually own any property, and
Right.
and Uber doesn't actually own any cars, but a lot of it is just because they are able to make life simpler. They're able to save time, and it sounds like you guys are on the same line, just like you talked about as far as Expedia.
That's correct.
Nice, nice, nice. And I wanted to switch gears a little bit and ask you for what I call a CEO hack. And this might be an app, a book, or a habit that you have, but it's something that makes you more effective and efficient.
Absolutely. We are actually one of the things that I do as a CEO is daily plan. I have every night I actually write down the tasks for me to do tomorrow, and I do them. It doesn't necessarily mean 5 or 7 tasks. Sometimes it's 10 tasks. But if I feel like at the end of the day of tomorrow, I feel like accomplished.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of times, I don't know if you're anything like me, but I know sometimes, especially when you're really ambitious and you want to get a lot of stuff done, sometimes you will forget all the things that you accomplished. So even just from a refresher, just to understand how accomplished or how much stuff you got done, is great to have that list to say, I just checked all that stuff off. And there's few greater things than being able to check off something off the to-do list. And now I wanted to ask you for what I call a CEO nugget. And this is a word of wisdom or a piece of advice, or if you can hop into a time machine, what would you tell your younger business self?
Ah, very good question, Gresh. One of the things I would tell myself is the consistency of doing things and then the initiative. To do anything in life, even for me to start this process or even for me to start my other businesses, to do anything in life, you got to have initiative, meaning that you can't just think about something, but you have to plan it. You got to do interviews or whatever that you have to do, but you have to start it. Without starting it, there is nothing. It's just nothing. You're just wasting words.
Absolutely. I love that advice. And, I always visualize just like kind of like a tree where you're chopping at the tree. You can't just knock down the tree most of the time with just one really big swing. You got to do it day in, day out. Like you said, the grind and the hustle to do that on a consistent
Exactly.
basis. And then all of a sudden, just like, the check marks on the to-do list, all of a sudden that tree starts to fall because you've been, hitting at it constantly over and over again. And next thing you know, you're starting to make a huge dent and a huge impact, which is what I think most entrepreneurs and business owners are trying to do.
Exactly. And you're right, coming back to the checklist, that's exactly what you need. The consistency is part of the checklist saying, okay, tomorrow I'm getting this, and this done.
Mm-hmm.
So you're adding it to that checklist and say, okay, that way you're moving forward. Hey, I'm doing this drawing tomorrow, this piece of the drawing tomorrow, or, this piece of, building the solution, whatever it is, start it, consistently move forward.
Absolutely, absolutely. And now I wanted to ask you my absolute favorite question, which is the definition of what it means to be a CEO. And we're hoping to have different quote unquote CEOs on this show. So, Janica, what does being a CEO mean to you?
Yeah. Again, you have awesome questions, Gresh. Um, so for a CEO, for me, it's wearing multiple hats, meaning that depending on your situation, you have to be the motivator. You have to be the student. You have to be the teacher. You have to do a lot of different things based on your audience. And for a CEO, there's no such thing called like a downtime. Like it's like being a dad or so. Like
Mhm.
even if you're sick, you got to play with the kid. You don't get a day off. Um, you have many responsibilities for your shareholders, to your company, and you got to shield your employees from outside influences while you're building a business. So CEO is, everybody thinks, oh man, that's CEO, that's an awesome job. Well, it's a lot of work, but it's a work that you're doing it happily because you know what? That's something that you created, you envision it, and everybody envision it along with you and working with you to make it successful. It's never only you. It's also the supporting cast, everybody, your co-founders, everybody that's working with you to make it successful, but providing guidance. And you know like I said, it's different hat depending on what day it is, what hour it is. You got to change that hat and just become a different person. Versatility, that's part of being a CEO, in my opinion.
Absolutely. I think that that's a phenomenal definition. Just because, just like you said, like a dad, you're always on, no matter if you're sick, no matter if you're tired. You gotta show up. You gotta be consistent, and you gotta be aware of everything and the impact that you're having, because you gotta lead the team, whether that be the shareholders or the team members working with you, or even the clients that you have as well too. You always have to kind of be on. So I appreciate that definition. And Janaka, I truly appreciate your time. What I want to do is pass you the mic, so to speak, just to see if there's anything additional you can let our readers and listeners know. And then, of course, how they can download Tastefinder and find out about all the awesome things that you're doing.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. What in the near future, what we're trying to introduce is actually a better way for the restaurants to connect to communities. So we're trying to do more of like a CEO. Sorry, not CEO store. I apologize. I'm in this podcast, so I forgot. It's more like restaurant stories, like restaurant owners. They have background stories, why they're doing what they're doing, how are they making this food. So we would like to get to the bottom of it, go beyond Yelp and Google reviews. So we're doing actually 2 to 4 minute videos with restaurants, and we're putting it as a vlog post in our app and soon in our website as well. Please download our app. It's in Apple Store and also Google Play Store. It's Tastefinder, one word, and download it. There will be some coupons. You get to search by your favorite dish, cuisine, and also you can take a look at some of the events near you to see what other restaurants are doing. So participate and let us know. My email address is janaka@tastefinder.com. If you have any questions or anything, please, any recommendations, any comments, please let us know.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much again, Janaka. What we'll do is we'll have those links in the show notes as well so that everybody can follow up with you. But I appreciate you, and I hope you have a phenomenal rest of the day.
Thank you. You too, Gresh.
Thank you for listening to the I Am CEO podcast powered by Blue 16 Media. Tune in next time and visit us at IAM328.co. I Am CEO is not just a phrase, it's a community. Be sure to follow us on social media and subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, Google Play, and everywhere you listen to podcasts. Subscribe and leave us a 5-star rating. Grab CEO gear at www.ceogear.co. This has been the I Am CEO podcast with Gresham Harkless. Thank you for listening.